Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. The original Metroid on the NES is far less replayable than, let's say, Mario or Zelda. About a year ago, I beat it for the very first time on the NES Classic, but if it were not for two factors, I would have never even attempted such a feat. First, I had a map. A friend of mine gifted me the Nintendo NES Classic Collector's Book that contained information on all the classics contained on the little console, including maps and tips. The map in the book included a step-by-step guide to beat the game. The second factor was the use of save states to save my progress rather than having to rely on a lengthy password system. Using the guide, I was able to complete the game in a matter of hours, as it is surprisingly not a very long game. I enjoyed the experience and probably will review it one day, but boy did it need a remake. Fortunately, Nintendo provided, and the remake stands as the definitive way to play the game today. But first, a little context. In the wake of Metroid Fusion, released in 2002, someone on the team suggested porting Super Metroid to the Game Boy Advance. But Yoshio Sakamoto, who had been part of every Metroid game development except for Metroid 2 on the Game Boy, steered the team to a Metroid remake in the style of Super. To make the game a little longer, since the original Metroid is kind of short, they added a new segment at the end of the game featuring Zero Suit Samus. The goal was also to expand on the lore of the series without adding too much to it that was new. Fleshing out Samus' backstory was a priority and is achieved in the game's opening as well as the added segment. The game was a critical and commercial success. The only real criticism for the game was leveled at its relatively short length. But that is all then. What about now? If I was limited to a single word to summarize the feel of Zero Mission, it would be hard-pressed to choose between two. Adventure would be the first, as the game exudes excitement through every fiber of its presentation, gameplay, and especially the music. The other word would be triumph, the confidence of Samus in the game that even at her weakest, she means business, and Mother Brain, Ridley, and Kraid should beware her power. I am kind of fond of watching YouTube videos at 2x speed. I process information quickly, and I find I can get through more videos in my limited schedule this way. The reason I bring it up is because playing Zero Mission feels like playing Super Metroid set to 2x speed. It does not feel as fast as Dread, mind you, but compared to every other game that has come before, Samus strolls through the environments with a confidence unmatched in the series. But all this adventure and triumph comes at a price. Zero Mission is by far the least capable in the series at creating genuine tension until the very last act. When Samus loses her suit after the defeat of Mother Brain, she is incredibly fragile and outgunned by the space pirates until she recovers her power suit. But this feeling is short-lived, as when she does get her suit back, the space pirates literally begin to hide from her. It is at its heart a cathartic moment, but the rest of the game lacks any of this tension. It may seem unfair to compare the game to Dread in this regard, as the developers had more powerful hardware and freedom afforded to them by a new entry. It allowed them to craft an experience that couples Samus' confidence with genuine tension and suspense. That said, Fusion, which came out before Zero Mission, absolutely nails this department. Zero Mission is also very, very easy. The only real challenge it gave me was the Mother Brain fight, and that was really just me figuring out where to shoot ice beams so that I could keep from getting hit and stay on top of platforms. The final boss is kind of a joke, and it was way too easy. I also do not feel the compulsion to trek back through all the areas of the game to find all the upgrades. In other games in the series, the challenge of the game was an incentive enough to go and collect more stuff. Not so here, as the final boss is so easy, I thought to myself, why bother? Now, I do not want anyone to think this means Zero Mission fails as a Metroid game. Far from it. Indeed, some claim to be the best in the series for a good reason. But it feels thematically so detached from the original Metroid that I sort of would be doing a disservice, not to mention their largely different tone and approach. I love Zero Mission for giving us an amazing and thrilling adventure to run through, And if I did not have the original Metroid on the NES to compare it to, I would likely have nothing to say on the matter. It's true that the game is very short, especially to seasoned Metroid fans. I'd rather list the aspect as a strength, however. Zero Mission is quick enough to be beaten by someone over the course of a short trip on our car ride. Considering it was built for a portable console, this seems appropriate. Whether you agree that the game's short length is a strength might be objective, but I would say that Zero Mission is a triumph in all other ways that matter. For example, the game replaces the punishing challenge of the original with equally challenging skill-based item collection and rewarding time saves for those who want to beat the game quickly. This means that a novice player can enjoy the game without being punished, but the skilled player can also find a lot to love here. This makes Zero Mission the most accessible and versatile game in the series to play. There is something here for everybody. The story is handled perfectly with short cutscenes that wordlessly convey the events and build excitement for each of the 3 major boss encounters. The presentation is a massive improvement over the original and might be the best sprite-based game in the series. Ridley and Kraid especially shine with their fabulous intro cutscenes and incredible sprite designs. In fact, Ridley's sprite is my favorite version of this character from the whole series. Despite the control being limited to 4 buttons and a D-pad, less than other M had, I might add, the game handles its variety of moves and power-ups with ease. Dare I say, the control department, it does more with less than even the incredible Super Metroid. The game builds to a crescendo and includes a surprise tag at the end, which is all very rewarding to play. There's no wasted effort at all, and considering the hardware the game was designed for, it's a real contender for the best game on the console. But is it the best Metroid game? Well, best is sort of subjective view, I suppose. For me, the answer is no. One day, I will rate my 2D Metroids, so I will not spoil the list here except to say it's in the top 5 for sure. There's nothing wrong with the game. Indeed, in some ways, it's mechanically superior to other games that I prefer. But the sense of tension present in other entries in the series is one of the reasons I play Metroid games. I still prefer it to the original Metroid on the NES, and if anyone asked me what the first Metroid game they should play is, I would without hesitation recommend Zero Mission. The game is fantastically designed and good fun, but it just needs some more dread, pun intended.